have two faculty members that are at another meeting, Professor Teresita Ramirez and Professor Raj Kapaya. And I think on the phone, there he is, Dr. Meyer. So, yeah, maybe we could clear that off and give him a full screen, or can we do that? Sure. So we can see Dr. Meyer. Most of you won't be in any of Dr. Meyer's classes till you're at least juniors. Maybe take Business Law 1 as a sophomore, but usually juniors and seniors. And so you'll get the honor of working with him. And he is beloved here at the Mount and certainly within our department. So I'm so happy you're with us, Dr. Meyer. Thank you. I'm going to ask you to say a few words in a little while. We want to go over, how many freshmen in the room? Raise your hand if you're a freshman. Come on, nice and long. Okay, all right. All right, thank you. How many sophomores? Okay. So this meeting is important to the two groups for similar and different reasons. That sounds a little like an oxymoron. What is she saying? Well, for you that are freshmen, you're now going to plan your schedule. Somebody isn't doing it for you. So you need to know how to go about doing that. And that's a very important thing because we don't want you to get to year 4 and not have taken the proper classes and then say, oh my gosh, I have to spend another semester here. Or, oh my gosh, I have to spend another year here. That's not the plan in the business department. Remember, we're a business department. That means money matters to us. And that means your money and the money that your family's putting in matters a lot. So we don't want to see you spend money needlessly. So this is very important that you understand and have a full grasp of how to make sure your schedule is done right. So you graduate in how many years? 4. Can I hear you tell me what that number is? 4. Louder. 4. I don't hear you. 4. That's right, 4 years. Because time is money in the business world. And we don't want you spending money needlessly. We don't want you in school needlessly. We love having you here, but if you're going to spend a 5th year, we'd rather you're getting a master's degree, which makes you more valuable in the market. So while you might think, oh, they made me come to this seminar, we're doing it for your own good. And that's probably what your parents told you anyway, but we're kind of your parents right now. We're here for that purpose. So what you have in front of you, and I'm not going to go into a ton of it, but what you have in front of you is particularly those of you that are, I think we only had a couple of people considering or undecided. We're happy to talk to you folks offline too. You have 3 different checklists. The yellow one is the BS in Business Administration. That is 126 credits. On the back of it is a set of concentrations. And if you look at this, and as Dr. Meyer taught me to say, this is a little bit like when you go to a Chinese restaurant, you have column A, B, C, and D. Well, we have the liberal arts 4, we have the business 4, we have a set of electives, and by the way, you have to pick a concentration. 4 categories. So what you'll be doing in the next year, and for those of you that are sophomores getting ready to, believe it or not, getting ready to think about your junior year, you're going to be thinking about courses in A and B categories. A and B categories. That's what you'll be thinking about. And we'll be working with you on other categories as you get further along. And the BA in accounting, in economics, that's 120 credits. Dr. Ramirez runs that program. It's a wonderful program, and it has a lot of versatility as well. That program is much more liberal in terms of types of courses that you would take. And then the BS in accounting, and that's Professor Nancy is in charge of that area. And that is really a professional, very much a professional studies area. Very heavy concentration on courses in accounting, preparing you to someday take the CPA exam. And by the way, a CPA is more valuable in the market than a law degree. just in case you want to know. You'll make a lot more money as a CPA than you will ever make as a lawyer. Anybody's thinking of law. But just to, again, we talk in terms of careers and what's going to make an impact in your life. And then we have a couple of other things. There's a little brochure here about the Mount, about our program, and you can read that. And then we are an accredited program. Now you might say, who cares? Well, you do care, because when you graduate from a college that is accredited by an organization such as ACBSP, which is a very highly regarded accrediting program, the value of your degree is greater. So this program, this business program, this accounting program is accredited. So you, just by coming to this program, it adds value to your resume. And that matters. So don't ever forget that. And when you put your resumes together, make sure you put it on there. And you're all going to be going through that exercise for those of you that are freshmen. And for those of you that are sophomores, I want you thinking about internships. Not 6 months from now, not 3 months from now, now. Now. You my sophomores? All right. Where do you want to do an internship? I was talking to Professor Rosenberg about a wonderful opportunity on Staten Island. They're opening up a new baseball team. Anybody's interested in that? We're willing to work with you on that. But now is when you go and get your internship. Well, wait a minute, I'm going to do it in the summer. That's right. Now is when you do it. Now is when you apply. Now is when you get out in front. Because the competition is fierce for good internships. Okay? So I don't want to get into too much. I'm going to ask Dr. Meyer to say a couple of words too. But we do also have a program. Are you going to talk about the MSM program?
If you'd like me to.
We can take a minute to talk about that. Some of you know that we have an MBA program. That program is being phased out. But we have a replacement program. So Professor Manzi, why don't you come up and take a minute to talk about that, and then we'll turn it over to Professor Meyer. This is a big deal. This is really exciting.
Hey guys, yes, actually this is a big deal. So in effect, we're kind of like placed in an unusual situation. The MBA program has been phased out, and many of our students are extremely interested in getting a master's degree. And our accounting students specifically need to have 150 credits in order to be certified. So with the help of Dr. Meyer, we basically put together a program which is a master's in management, which, by the way, is very good for all careers, not just accounting. And in that master's degree, we put in 4 kind of focused classes, additional classes, that are going to be very important for anyone that goes into business at all. We're getting into data analytics, forensic accounting, financial statement analysis, and enterprise resource management. So we have there's a lot of interest in these classes today, because when you get out there in the world, you're going to have to understand how to use data. And using data drives results. And don't be afraid of math. It's not complicated math, but it will help you understand business operations and how to get ahead. And that's really, in many ways, that's what it's all about. Okay, so we're hoping you can consider that as you get a little further on in your college career. Okay?
But to make that work, you're going to need good grades.
Yes, you need good grades. Yeah, I always tell my students, any idiot could get a C, and it's not worth anything. If you're not getting A's and B's, you're not getting your value from our institution. And that's just a fact.
Thank you. How many athletes do I have in this room? Okay, so for the athletes that are in this room, the MSM also represents for you, the Masters of Science in Management Organizational Behavior also represents for you the 5th year of playing. So you can play for a 5th year if you participate in that program. But unless you have good grades, you're not getting into the program. So get the grades up. I would like to ask Dr. Meyer to take a minute to say hello and add some comments and thoughts. Thank you so much, Dr. Meyer, for being here today.
You're welcome. Great to be here, if
Oh, we
virtually.
don't have sound. Hold on. Is he cooked in?
Should be. Oh, that's at 100. Let's try this.
We've done a little testing.
All right, let's try now.
Hello? You have the audio?
Oh, where am I at? We try now?
Let's try it now, Dr. Meyer.
Hello? Do you have the audio now?
I think we're getting there. Yeah, it's on.
All right, I think we don't have audio here for whatever reasons. I don't know why.
Should work.
Sounds like it's coming.
Hello?
It's on 100%. I don't know.
Hello?
This is where we need you. Manny, where are you?
Yeah, I apologize. I don't know what's going on here.
Dr. Meyer, we're not going to be able to get you in here with the audio, so I'm sorry about that.
That's okay. That's okay.
Apologize about that.
Okay, without further ado, I am going to ask our panelists to come on up. Oh, Ricardo, I forgot about Ricardo. How could I forget you? Ricardo is going to talk to you about the Oxley Center and the support that you will get in terms of your career. Ricardo has joined us about a month ago, but I feel like he's been here forever because he's jumped in and he's just absolutely wonderful to work with. And he cares deeply about our students. I can't tell you how many students he's helped in the 30 years he's been here. So come on up, Ricardo. My apologies.
Thank you. So my role is the director of internship and career education. So I'm the person you come to when you think about like the internship you want to do. Also, if you want to work on your resume, I know some people find it boring, but I find it fun. It's like solving a puzzle, kind of learning people's resumes. So I sit with you and you work on your resumes and think about format and what you need to add, what you need to subtract. We'll talk about internships and what kind of internships are out there. If you have a question about Handshake and you don't know how to use Handshake, we'll go over how to use Handshake because it's a great resource that you have where you put your profile up and different companies can see what you're looking for and they can also see what you have to offer. If you want to talk about, like this morning I was talking to students, but like, how do you do an interview on Zoom, right? How do you prepare for a Zoom interview? So we're talking about that process. So that's my role. If you also want to talk about grad school, like if you want to talk about the application process for grad school, and you want to, for most grad program, you have to write an essay. You have to write this essay about why do you want to do this grad program. I'm the person you come to, and I'll help you with your essay, and we'll go over what schools are looking for on applications for grad school and things like that. I am at the library located in room 208. I am also in Navigate. Ricardo, I know some students are getting a picture, but it's Ricardo on Navigate, so you can always schedule something in Navigate. But I'm the person you come to with anything internship and anything with the process of internship, and I'm more than happy to help you out. Any questions on internships? Anything I can try to answer?
What is your room? Where's your room?
I am at the library, room 208. So it's the second floor of the library. And it's a nice area with all the new setup. So to the Ashley Center, we also have an opportunity for students. For example, if you already did an internship for your major, for most business students, they already gonna do one for the major, which is the 3 credit. But if you say I want to do an additional internship, we have that 1 credit internship to the Ashley Center that you can do. If you have questions about that process, you can always email me and we can go over that process, about the paperwork, and we can talk about how do you make that happen for yourself. And as you know, the more internship you do, the better it is going out there. So doing more than 1 internship is it's a very good thing to think about doing. I know sometimes you do 1 and you think that's good. It is good to do 1, but doing 2, that means you're more competitive and you can compete with other people out there because the competition is high and everyone wants the same internship, everyone wants the same jobs.
Do we have any questions for Ricardo?
Go ahead. My name is Ricardo. Ricardo.Janvier. I know it's a mouthful. If you look for Ricardo, you should be able to find it. But I'm in the library, room 208. So, yeah. Other questions? So anything that internship you have, you can always contact me, even if it's just thinking about the process and how you will go about the process of starting to get for an internship. Like, I'm very excited to help you with that. If you have companies in mind and you don't know how to approach them, I'm more than happy to help you with how you approach a company that you have in mind. If you have a connection with an internship, or if you know someone somewhere and you don't know how to approach them, I'm more than happy to help with that process. I know there's events tomorrow for business students. If you attend that event and you have questions about, okay, how do I follow up with someone? I'm more than happy to help you with the follow-up email with the person. Because, the email, sometimes your first
I'm just
connection with
trying to
someone,
change the
and
volume, see if I
the way you write the email.
I'll get up. It's gonna try to talk. I can't. Yeah, no, it's fine.
What are your office hours?
I'm here Monday to Friday, 8:30 to 4:30. I'm there until 5. Yeah, so 8:30 to 5. That's usually the office hour. That's what I'm saying. But if you need to talk some other time, you can also other arrangements. So Handshake is one of the nicest softwares that most colleges have with students. So it's a way to kind of get internships, and it's also a way to connect with agencies. So we get internship from, even if you take it like cooperative something in the summer in my own hometown, we get internship from all over the place. So it's not just New York City, we get from California, we get from all over the place. So if you say, okay, I live in Florida, and I want to buy internship in Florida, you probably have a connection to Handshake. So Handshake is a big software that we have with anybody that wants to work with our students, they put their application there for the internship or the job. And what we do is we review it, and if they have certain standards, then we say yes to them. And even after you connect with the agency to Handshake, we also help you out. If you have a question about what do I do after I connect, we help you with that process. But Handshake is a great software. And I know sometimes students, they are a little bit intimidated by it. What I said to students that create a profile, that just means a username and a password to start, and then go from there. It's okay if you just have a little bit of your resume and then you have everything, because you can always add to it. So just creating a profile at least makes you be aware of what's going on with it. And you can start getting, for example, if you create a profile and you say, okay, I want to get internship in finance. Anytime somebody posts something in finance, you're going to get a notice, about it. And then you can decide what you want to do about it. Also, when you create a company profile, if a company like your resume and your profile, they can contact you. Just say, oh, we saw your resume on Handshake. We want to work with you. We want you to come to the interview. So it's also good for companies to see what you have to offer. And it's a great software. And I know it's intimidating. And you can also have it as an app where you get the notice. So for example, you can filter to certain things that you want. You can say, I only want to see internship in finance. Anytime somebody posts something like that, you're gonna get a notice. So you can look at it. So you don't have to get every notice. You can determine what kind of notice you get. And if you're intimidated by Handshake and you kind of don't know how to use it, you can always come see me and we'll go step by step on how to use it. All right. Thank you. Library employee.
Give it a shot, Ed.
Hello, can you hear me?
Internships are vital to
1 second,
your
Ed.
next step in your career. We met with a company the other night, BNY Mellon, which is a large investment firm, a global investment firm, and we had about 50 of our students there. BNY Mellon is looking now for interns. And if you were to be accepted as an intern at this global company, finance company, investment company, you have an 80% chance of being offered a full-time job at the time you graduate. Now, I think that's pretty good. Wall Street Journal says that on average, if you go after a top-notch internship and do extremely well, on average, 50% of those internships turn into permanent jobs. So while you think as freshmen and sophomores you have plenty of time, I want to make you really understand that your competition is out there now. They're not waiting till they get into junior year or senior year. Now is when they're doing it. If you were to go to a meeting at Fordham or Sacred Heart or Manhattan or Iona, they'd be fighting for internships now. So when Ricardo says you can do multiple internships, do it. In the BS degree, you have the opportunity to do two. One is required, the other is an elective. In the accounting, you can also do two. One is required and one would be an elective. And of course, in economics, you can also do internships. So we're encouraging this because we know this leads to permanent job opportunities. It also provides you with a very clear roadmap to what you have to do with the remaining years that you're here at the Mount to really hone your skills. It's a very competitive world out there. Our job as faculty is to get you ready for it. Now, you're going to hear from our panel in a few minutes, but I'll turn it back over to Professor Rosenberg. But please keep this in mind, and we will do everything we can to help you. Okay?
So Ed, say something, please.
Hello? Are we on?
Yeah, Dr. Meyer, okay, we have contact. Thank you.
Well, I got my voice back. Terrific. Terrific. I just want to add my goodwill wishes to all of you. It's great to see you gathered like this for this program, and at least virtually to meet you. I'm always available, as well as all the faculty, to talk about different career questions, opportunities. I'm a lawyer, so any of you that are thinking about law, talk to me. I will see you all in business law and in our strategy course as a senior. But here's my message for you today in this gathering. These 4 years that you have ahead of you, for some of you 3 years, is the golden opportunity for you to build your brand, for you to build your portfolio. You only get this once in life. So try to keep adding to your portfolio and make it as valuable when you graduate as possible. What do I mean by that? Look for opportunities to be involved. Being in sports is terrific. That's a great asset to your resume. But if you're not in sports as well, look to be involved in student government. Try to get involved with a club on campus where you can be an officer. It's not far-fetched to say that when you go out there to begin hunting for your jobs, what differentiates you is going to make the difference between getting the job and not. And employers are impressed by a variety of activities that you've been engaged in during these 4 years. How about volunteering work? Even if you volunteer one afternoon a week, being able to put that on your resume and talk about it in your interviews is very, very valuable. We are going to all watch what's going to happen with COVID, but let's hope that after another year, things go back a little bit more to normal. And then a third opportunity you have to look at is the chance of studying abroad. This college has always encouraged students, when it was possible, to take a semester or a summer and study abroad. That is excellent. I hope that's going to be possible again in the future. But think of that as another example of how you enrich and build your brand, who you are, the value that you offer an employer. So if you find that you have too much free time and you're going home from classes and watching television for 3 hours, maybe you want to look at some other possibilities to use some of that time to be engaged. Be engaged, connect, be part of the different opportunities that the college offers you. Without it, it's going to be that much harder to make a difference and differentiate yourself when you go for employment after you graduate. So talk to us all. We all have different ideas on the faculty of how to enrich your resume, how to enrich what you're offering as you graduate, and we'll all give you and share with you our ideas.
Thank you very much, Dr. Meyer. I really appreciate it. We're all very much looking forward to Dr. Meyer to be back in front with us, and hopefully you'll be able to see that very soon. Just a couple of things I wanted to touch on. How many of you have joined some type of club, student government, sport thing, intramural, something like that already? Great. For those of you who haven't, we want to talk about a couple of opportunities we have right here within the business department that it's some pretty light-lifting, guys. In other words, you don't have to have a big time commitment towards it. The Sports Business Club, which a couple of our all four of our panelists have been a part of. I'll let them kind of do some of the really big highlights there, but just yesterday, Mr. Curiel, Andrew, did a LinkedIn presentation on how you can set up a LinkedIn portrait of what you're going to be like out to the world of business. And over 90% of hires today come back to LinkedIn. Think of it like kind of the Facebook for the internet, for business. Incredible opportunities through there, and thank you for doing that. The Sports Business Club has gone to the Baseball Hall of Fame. They've run a number of events here. Again, I don't want to take all their steam away, so I'll let them talk to that. But I would also like, Professor Ramsey, if you don't mind, just kind of a brief overview about our other clubs that we have in the department, the Accounting Club and the Investment and Finance.
To be honest with you, I actually do mind, but I'll do it anyway. So
Whether you mind or not.
Fine. I'm going to talk to you about two clubs. We have what we call the Accounting Society, which in effect just kind of became a club recently, but we've been in existence for several years. So what do we do in the Accounting Society? We plan a lot of different events, a lot of professional events. We have speakers come in to tell us about their different careers. We talk about different career opportunities. For example, we're sponsoring the networking event that's going to be happening tomorrow at 6 o'clock. We're going to have somewhere around 25 to 28 different companies come in to talk to you all about career opportunities, about what the job opportunities are like, and how you actually get a job. And in addition to that, we do a lot of professional kind of stuff that relates to accounting, but not entirely. You do not have to be an accounting major to be in the accounting. There are several people, specifically that are in. Matter of fact, Samantha Crew also has been in the Accounting Society. She's not an accounting major. She's in business administration. So it's not something that you have to think of that way. Think of it as a way to get more involved in professional understanding. And also, we run a lot of events, and we have a good time with it. And you get to network with people that are at a different level, right? And they're really coming here to tell us more about what they do and how we can work with them. So that's really the Accounting Society. Yes, sir.
How many times a week do you guys meet?
Well, because of that's a really good question. Because of the event we have now, we've been meeting every week, but normally it's every 2 to 3 weeks. And it's really an hour. So we kind of set the agenda out. And what I like to do is I like to assign different students specific events that they can plan, because it gives them a much better opportunity to learn how to do project management, as well as dealing directly with people outside the college that are professionals. So it really is not a lot of time involved. And it's really, it's a good group of people. I guarantee you that.
What day?
We've been meeting on Tuesdays at 4 o'clock. But that's very flexible. And it depends on the availability of everyone else. So we'd love to have you come join us. Really. I think you'll enjoy it. In fact, I can tell you that Zeta Cuffey, who just kind of joined the club last year, she in effect brought in a very good company as part of this event we're having. She's bringing in Pepsi. So Pepsi is a pretty high-powered company, and they can talk to us about, and obviously it's not just accounting, it's all kinds of business operations, business administration, it's accounting, it's finance, it's marketing. So it's really good to get people to grow a little more, I think.
How do I sign up?
Send me an email, and you are there. I mean, you'll have to do a few push-ups, but that's it. You look like you probably could do it. I'm not really worried about it. We don't have any. There's no discriminatory promises. It's if you want to be in, you want to be part of the team, we want you there. So that's great. Now, the other club I want to talk about a little bit about, I kind of advise them on the side, it's the Investment Club, and this is a group of really bright kids, okay? And they, in effect, have an excellent program going where they met with the Board of Trustees of the college, and convince them that they should help them in their investment strategy. And so they were giving $100,000, not to go to Hawaii, but to invest as part of the responsibility for the college to make money on their money. So it's really interesting because what they're really doing is they're analyzing different investment options and they're contributing to the growth of the overall college. So in addition to that, they've also done trips to the Federal Reserve, which is kind of a cool thing to see the Federal Reserve, to see where all our money gets printed. And they've done some events with the Accounting Society where we kind of got together and we did trips out to the FASB, a couple of different things. But I think that, and Dr. Avasani can talk more about this, but I think that their biggest accomplishments, I just think it's incredible that they were able to get a piece of the endowment assigned to them to actually manage. So you really learn how to manage money, and it's very exciting. And they're also, by the way, open to additional people. And after, to be honest, they're getting a little long in the tooth, so they're looking for new recruits.
Freshman is session.
Yeah, they're looking for new recruits so they can continue on the great work, and it really is an exciting thing. Anybody have any questions? Do you want to add anything, Dr. Harrison? All right, well, thank you all. Take care.
All right, so guys, those little blue tickets you had, we're gonna start giving away a couple of the prizes, and then we're gonna get to the panel. So I'm gonna call out a couple of numbers here. If people don't answer, I'm gonna go with the next one, because there might be some on seats that that haven't been picked up. Oh, by the way, these gifts were mostly donated by our own Professor Tormes, and thank you very much. The first number, 477863. Come on up, buddy. Come on up. There we go. All right. Our panelists and professors are open to winning too. Just it's everyone but me. 477893. All right, we're going to do two more, and then we're going to move on to the panel. Four, 77854. All right, one more.
Come on up. Professor Torme, see how happy you made everybody? Take a look. All right.
Okay. All right. So we're going to do one more, and then we're going to do some after the panel, too. So stick around. We got more prizes. All right. He's up here. No, not there. This way again. Okay. That's it. All right. 477819. 477819.
All right.
All right, guys. So some some of you are going to be some of these. In other words, some of you are going to be some amazing standouts in our program that we're going to say, hey, you can come help us motivate our next generation, our next year. So I want you really to kind of listen to these stories. We have really very different ones, very interesting ones, but all, I hope you'll see yourself in, that you can do. I know it's hard as freshmen, you're just coming into it, but you're going to hear some of the really cool stuff that they've done, and you're going to be really impressed. And then you should look back and say, you know, why not me? And know that we're all here to help you too. None of them got here alone. All of them had help. They were amazing, and they took off. But all of them got help, so don't be afraid when you got a great idea, when you're not sure about something, where you might have a decision to make with your parents, where you want to change something that maybe they didn't want. You're going to hear from these students different and alum, different types of approaches, different ways to see the world, and different ways that they look at it that I think you're going to kind of see yourself in, like I said. So instead of listening to me too much, I really want to invite them. What I'd like is for the four of you to come up, but to please each individually speak up at the dais here about your path. And then we'll have questions and answers from the students, and I'll put a couple out there in case guys are a little shy at first. So, in no particular order, Andy Curiel, Teresa Perry, Samantha Curry, and Nancy Gonzalez. Okay, so Andrew, if you would please speak first, and then we'll have Teresa, followed by Samantha, and then Matt.
But all the other panelists, please have a seat. I'm sorry.
You didn't want me to do that.
All right, so I appreciate each of your time. I've spoken in some of your FYE courses already, so if I've already spoken in your class, raise your hand real quick. Okay, so some of you know my story, but I gotta tell you why I love this department so much. So for each of you, you are probably nervous right now because you're about to take midterms, you're overwhelmed, you probably tried already this year, and for each one of you, I was literally where you are right now. I'm a graduate of the class of 2018 from Mount St. Vincent. I'm fortunate now to be back here, back home, working in admissions. I probably read half of your applications to get you into this school, read your college essays and everything like that. And I was just telling Teresa, who was a classmate of mine, it's fulfilling now to see how far I've come, how far this department has come, and to see how far Mount St. Vincent has really come as well. And all of that doesn't happen without each one of you, what you're doing here at Mount St. Vincent. So going to things like this, even though it's after school, before practice, or you could be doing something else, it's important because you're going to hear about the good stories that we have here. So, to my story, I was originally a biology major. I came into Mount St. Vincent because my mom wanted me to be a biology major. She wanted me to become a physical therapist. Initially, when I started taking the classes here, what ended up happening was, it was an 8:30 a.m. class. I was learning about trees, I was learning about grass, and things that I did not want to learn about. I really wanted to become a physical therapist, work for the Knicks, Yankees, some sports team in New York. And what I started to find out was, this is what my mom wanted me to do. This is not what I wanted to do. Also, I played men's basketball here for 4 years, so shout out to my guys, it's the season about to start. And what I noticed with that was, it was the first time I was actually living on my own on college campus. I'm a big mama's boy too, I'm an only child. So for me to be away, it was hard for me to even to separate my time, like when to go do laundry, when to go eat, when to go work out, things like that. And what I started to notice was, I'm starting to be unsuccessful in class, in my sport, and also socially too. I wasn't joining any clubs, I was really just overwhelmed by the college experience. And to each of your own, this is something new, so give yourself some grace if you're not figuring this out just yet. What ended up happening was, I went to those biology classes, I didn't get a W. Does anyone know what a W means? A withdrawal, right? I decided not to get a withdrawal from my class because I knew I could go further and see what I could do in biology. I should have got the withdrawal. I ended up failing biology. So when I failed biology, my GPA was a 2.1. 2.1 GPA. I was super sad My mother was disappointed, and I honestly found out my grade on Christmas Day. Because when you all check self-service, you gotta check your grade there. So I'm home, I'm watching the Christmas basketball games, and I'm looking at my scores, and I'm like, and my mom is next to me, she's like, oh, how was your first semester at college? I was like, I mean, if you want to see it, we could look. She looked at it, and my mom didn't go to college. She went to 2 years at John Jay. So I'm first generation as well, similar to most of you in this room. And she literally said this. She said, well, either you got to figure that out, or I'm taking you out. I said, all right, bet. So what ended up happening was, since I was on the basketball team, I actually came back to campus for intersession. So it's only the basketball team on campus because we have meetings and practices. And my coach at the time, who was an alumni from Mount St. Vincent as well, he said, listen, I need you to go talk to Dr. Avasana. And I had no idea who Dr. Avasana was here at Mount St. Vincent. I didn't take any classes with her because I was a bio major. I said, all right. So I walked from the gym over to the business department on the third floor. She was here, luckily. And when I went into our office, I literally just burst into tears. I was like, I'm overwhelmed. I don't know if I can make it in college. I don't know if this is really for me. Nothing's working out. I just need some guidance. I need some help. She literally looked at me and said, first of all, breathe. And second of all, stop trying. And third of all, take a seat. And I was like, all right, this is what I need. She sat me down right at that same table that's in her office. And she said, listen, we're going to figure this out. You're a biology major. Guess what? You're not a biology major anymore. You're going to become a business major. And that's the push I need. I'm getting choked up now, but she literally, I just told her this yesterday. She literally mapped out the next 2 years for me at Mount St. Vincent. She said, you're going to take principles of marketing with this guy named Professor Rosenberg. You're going to take principles of management with this guy named Manny Diaz. You're going to take this course. You're going to take Ed Meyer your junior year. And I was like, I don't see it, but I believe you. And she literally mapped it out for me, and that's what I did in my next 2 years. My next 2 years, I took my marketing classes, I took my international business classes, and it was that aha moment for me that clicked in my head, like, yo, I belong here. And when I started to notice I was successful in my classes and on my tests, I was like, this is what I want to do. That business feeling was just for me. What ended up happening was, in my marketing classes, what I enjoyed so much about it is that in Rosenberg's classes, and Albertsana's classes, and Mandy's classes, everything that you're learning, you can literally use the same day. Like, literally apply it. And when I was in that marketing class, I'm like, bet, I could do exactly what he's teaching me. Like, I'm going to go on to whatever, and I'm going to figure it out. So I'm very passionate about basketball. So I actually started my own nonprofit here as well at Mount St. Vincent. Has anyone ever heard of BU Stay True? Raise your hand if you heard of it. Right? So we're a nonprofit program where we promote character building in the youth through sports. And I started it here, my sophomore year at Mount St. Vincent. I credit Rosenberg a lot because he gave me motivation to keep doing it and to keep trying. And with that, to each one of you, keep trying. Yes, you may have not found your fit right now. Yes, you don't know if you want to be in the same major because your parents need you. But keep trying. Because once you start trying, you start to see you're good at certain things. So remember, what was my first GPA? 2.1. I ended up graduating from Mount St. Vincent after taking all my business classes with a 3.2 GPA. So it's definitely possible. I'm not telling you this because I'm a hot shot or whatever. I'm telling you this because this is my experience. With that as well, I love business so much, I got the opportunity to go overseas to Ireland. I played professional basketball over there for a year, and hoops got me a free master's degree. So I got to go to Ireland, get a free master's degree, and I got my degree in marketing. So when I came back, I was on LinkedIn, and I told them my LinkedIn workshop yesterday. I was on LinkedIn, and my VP now, Madeline Melkonian, she saw. She was like, oh, I just saw you came back from Ireland. I hope all is well. What are you doing for a job? I said, I'm not really doing anything. I'm doing summer camp counselor right here in Mount St. Vincent. She was like, let's have lunch tomorrow. We had lunch. Ever since that lunch, I've been employed at the college. Because she saw me and what everything I was doing, whether it was BU Stay True, whether it was my education, whether it was service work, whatever it was, working with other students. And she saw the passion that I had, and she said, I need you as part of my team here in our missions. And as all of you know, we use our Instagram no matter what in terms of that mission, because we know all of you are there, but we're also trying to stay relevant, valuable, and useful with our information. And I learned all of that here. Mount St. Vincent made me who I am. And that's why I'm so passionate about what I do, working with the students and giving whatever opportunities you guys want. Some of the professors alluded to it earlier, right? You have to take advantage. You have to take advantage that we're all here. These people that are here putting this on, we're here to serve you. You guys pay tuition to come here, correct? You guys pay tuition to come here, correct? One more time. You guys pay tuition to come here, correct? Okay, right? So if you go to a restaurant and you order steak and they give you chicken nuggets, what you gonna do? You're gonna send it back. So if you feel like you're not getting what you're supposed to get out of this college, go to the people who are in charge and get what you deserve. That's what I did. Biology didn't work out for me. Whoever was thinking about science probably switched over to business. But use the people that are here to help you. Same thing for me. Yes, I'm an alumni. Yes, I play hoops here. Yes, I'm in admissions. I can still help each and every one of you, whatever you may need. So I thank you for your time. I do have to drive to Long Island. But if you have Instagram, go on Instagram. Go on Instagram. Drew, so DREW, CURIEL. You can DM me whatever you want, and I'll be able to help you out. All right? Appreciate you guys. Enjoy the rest of this panel. Teresa, thank you.
Well done. So good to see you.
All right. Wow, well, pretty good start, and I'm sure we're going to continue with that. I want to bring up now another alum, also an athlete or former athlete, and doing wonderful in the business world and marketing, Teresa Garrett.
Hi everybody, my name is Teresa, and I'm really glad to know I just found out I'm not the only person that is fried with Dr. Capizano in her office, so that was good to know. So I graduated in 2016, and I currently work in events marketing and events planning in New York City. So I'm right down in Midtown West. We're finally back in office, so I go in about 2 or 3 times a week. But one of the things that, when I was coming here, there's a feeling that you get when you get on campus that's just like that, kind of back home in that environment. So I haven't been here probably maybe like 3 or 4 years now. But when I was sitting in the front row here, just listening to everything that these professors had to say, I was just thinking about how at one point I was sitting in this same exact session and kind of thinking to myself, okay, like I'll do this in a couple of years. Like I'm a sophomore, so I transferred in. So just thinking, I have time, but really like what they're saying as I'm sitting there and I go to work every single day, I'm really thinking, wow, all of this stuff really did support where I am now. So I would encourage you to really listen to them and even Drew, like listen to what he said about trying and trying different things, because it will really help you when you get to the point of, looking at different jobs. A couple of things that I think they touched on just from more like a student perspective. I like to think that I'm still student age, even though I graduated 2016. But I think looking at internships, they're super important, and not only from a hiring side. So I do a little bit of hiring for us, and we actually use Handshake a lot. Our last 3 hires are from Handshake. So if you haven't looked into that, definitely look into that. There's so many companies on there. But one of the things that I would say is the internships are not only for the job scope of you, but for you to get a feeling of what do you like to do. Do you like this? Can I change what I'm doing? So there's so many avenues that you can go in marketing or in business just in general. The job that I do currently, I didn't even know about it until I got the job itself. So there's so many things out there. So put yourself out there, do different internships, all of that. And then in addition, I did play college basketball here as well. So that, if you're in a sport, great. I think it's great for leadership and just kind of building that self-confidence. But also clubs. I had the opportunity to be a part of Sports Business Club. One of the things that I did there was really helping me get the position that I'm currently in, is I launched an event with the Sports Business Club. So we called it Sunday Fun Day. I don't know if they still do it today. It's an obstacle course that's around the campus. You build teams, win prizes, just a really fun day. And we had like a can jam tournament as well. So we actually started that when I was at school. And we ran the whole thing. We ended up building a class where we basically worked out the different parts of the course together in that class. So you get to really be involved here. And I think that's one of the things that's really special about this campus is that the professors, they're so accessible to you. You can go to any one of them and just sit down and talk. When I first transferred, even these yellow sheets of paper brought me back. I think when I first transferred when I was a sophomore here, I was like, I'm fine, I'm on track. And then when I sat down with Dr. Armazano, I realized I was a credit short of graduating in 4 years. So we sat down and mapped it all out. So looking at that paper, look at it now, definitely map everything out, feel confident. So every single year you start, and every semester that you start, you have a plan set out, and you know you're on track. Other than that, the last thing that I would probably say, just a piece of advice, is definitely like what Dr. Meyer said. I thought was great, like building your brand here, get involved. Like, not only, I know like me and Drew kind of harp on sports, but any club out there, like the accounting club sounds great. Just getting involved with study abroad as well, and hopefully that comes back. I think the more things you do and the more you take advantage of such a small knit community, the more opportunity and the better you'll do when you get in front of, your potential boss. Just, talking about different things. I think it makes us really well-rounded. And yeah, I would just say take advantage of the resources here, because even though it's a small school, I think breeds great people, and you guys all seem like a really great bunch. So best of luck, and appreciate you all having me here.
Yeah, if you don't mind, just have to do it, and I'll speak to you from the current student's point of view.
Senior.
Yes.
Oh my God, senior.
Yes. Hi guys, so my name is Sam. I'm a senior here, a business major. So just some things that you guys probably might know or might not know. Clubs that I'm in is dance teams, Filament and Flavor. I am the president of Filament. I'm just a team member on Flavor. For the sports business club, I'm their treasurer this year, and then I'm also part of Simon, and I'm involved a lot in school here. I'm trying to think what else. I know we have a speech prepared, so. But some of the things that I've done that, Rosenberg wanted me to come by was I did an internship this summer, working with, who's into baseball? Who's into baseball? What's your favorite teams?
Yankees.
Yankees? Actually works perfectly for me. So I actually work up in Lavender Falls, upstate, maybe not upstate, depending how you guys like to call that. But I work upstate with the Hudson Valley Renegades, which is the minor league for the New York Yankees, the AAA. So I was able to work with them for the summer and got to get the experience of working in a minor league baseball team. Last year, I also got to go to Atlanta. I went on a business trip with a company called Living Sport. They helped me a lot, and I went to go see a Hawks game. I got to work in Alabama with the Trash City Pandas, which is another minor league for the Angels, I believe, and we got to work another minor league baseball there. We got to see the Atlanta Falcons and Atlanta United stadium. We got to network, which is a big thing on my part, and I think this is great for you guys. Just like Teresa said, use the advantage of using who you guys have here at the Mount. Networking is a great opportunity. LinkedIn was a huge thing for me. That helped me get my living sport, and it got me the job I have today, which is I'm working right now as a sales rep with the New York Giants and the New York Jets. So I'm working as one of their 50 raffle sellers, and that is where we kind of sell raffles out to people. So how it works is, for example, 5 for 10 and a 20 for 20. And then when you buy that, it ups the money a lot. So when you get the 20 for 20, and if other people get that, the main goal would become $50,000. And then if you're the winner, you get half of that. So you would get $30,000, and then the other half goes to the organization of the Giants or the Jets. But network is one of the big things I would say that you guys should use. Even here in the Mount, with Dr. Abasano, with Professor Rosenberg, Professor Torme, use those into your advantage, because they have also a lot of experience than myself, but also like Teresa and I and Matt and Andrew, we can help you guys as much as we want. We've had also different internships, different experiences, and if that's something you guys are really wanting to go into, something like myself in sports, I'm willing to help you guys. I'll stay after, and you guys can get any social media that you guys are into, and I can help you guys out.
So last, certainly not least, we have Matt Gonzalez. Matt's been involved in a number of different things here on campus, and I'm gonna just let him speak to that.
Hey guys, my name is Matt. So, just a little bit about myself. Came in as a shy freshman. I remember I was in your guys' position, sitting down, always thinking like, all right, I have a lot of time, 3 years, 4 years. It's gonna go by slow. I was wrong. It was like the quickest 4 years of my life. So, going into my sophomore year, I was fortunate enough to play a year of basketball. A lot of my friends, that's where I remember now. Junior year, I was fortunate enough to take a couple of classes with Professor Rosenberg in the sports management and concentration. So going into that, it was actually the last day of class last year. I had a presentation, and Professor Rosenberg brought one of his friends along from St. John's, Dr. Pat. So it was there that I made my presentation, didn't think too much about it, and later that day got an email, the whole class got an email, an opportunity at Octagon. So if you guys don't know, Octagon is one of the largest marketing companies in the world. And, I actually clicked on it. I was fortunate enough to submit my resume. 2 days later, I got an interview. And then this summer, I actually interned with them for 3 weeks. And, piggybacking off what the other speaker said, it's important that you guys really network. And I know what you guys are thinking, like, no, I'm a sophomore, I'm a freshman. It really doesn't matter what year you are. You guys need to take advantage of the time you have here. Even if it's like a simple conversation, adding someone through LinkedIn, Handshake, Instagram, all those small opportunities are gonna, lead up to the bigger moment. So some other advice that I have are take online classes as often as you can, because once COVID happened, the school, they opened up certain classes online. And I took advantage of that. I took a couple of classes, and now I'm going to graduate in December, so a semester early. And I'm actually in the application process of applying to the sports management program at St. John's. So it's really about being smart, paying attention, be respectful. And the business program, they're always there to offer the helping hand. So yeah.
As I thought, that was being a little humble there when he was talking about his internship. What really happened was, they offered you to the students at St. John's for quite a while, and couldn't get the right candidate. And so it was kind of a quick turnaround. But Matt, and this is what I hope will inspire some of you, he took advantage. I said, guys, we don't have a lot of time on this. You guys send out your application by tomorrow. And you guys are busy with other stuff, but this is an incredible opportunity. So Matt did it, got the interview. This is a really tough company to get in, guys. Octagon represents a ton of athletes all around the world. They manage and market programs and sports all over. It's unbelievable the amount of opportunity there. Matt is kind of in there. Because he did that, they're actually asking him to come back to talk about potential career opportunities. All because that one day he went and did it on his own. We didn't do that. He did it. And that's we're here for it. Absolutely. But when you guys start thinking, hey, I can do it, and that's what we want to do for you. We want to put in your heads, hey, I can do it too. And here's some great examples of it. So I wanted to leave some time here for you guys to ask some questions of them. Anything you want to ask. It could be the simplest thing about a class. It could be about, what could I be doing now? Whatever you're really concerned about. But before you do that, I think we get some more rounds. What do you think?
Yes.
Yeah, you up for that? All right, let's get a couple more. All right. And yeah, there's a couple left on the sides. Don't grab them. Just like a foul ball. Okay. 4, 7, 7, 8, 8, 3. 4, 7, 7, 8, 8, 3. Going once. 4, 7, 7, 8, 8, 3. Going twice. You have a winner? Yeah. Come up, son. Come on down if you got it. No? Yeah? All right, I'm going to go to the next one. We'll figure out if you really want to guys. 477 902. There we go.
around so I can get a picture. Turn around. There you go. All right, nice job.
Okay, we're gonna do one more here. You ready? 4, 7, 7, 8, 2, 1. 8, 2, 1. 4, 7, 7, 8, 2, 1. Come on up.
Let me get your picture.
I think she's a little shy. That's okay.
All right, guys, so I'd like to see who might have a question here. If you have a question, if you wouldn't mind, come on up and ask us so everyone can hear it right up here. So you can just line up, anyone who has a question? Anyone? Any questions or concerns about anything that any of the panel might go to discuss for you? Or yeah, faculty or anybody. Okay, so there, let's kick it off a little bit here. We're only gonna be a little bit longer, guys. We're almost there, so let's take just a little breath. But we have these great people here, and I want them to be able to help you kind of get started if you have any questions. Anyone have any questions about concentrations? And which ones you might want to do? You know, particularly for freshmen, you might not really thought about it yet, right? They just started taking courses. Yeah.
So I'm decided major. I'm pretty much leaning towards this. I don't know the exact process of taking it. And
You just meet with this lady here, and she will set you right up. So this was, they asked another, and I'll picture one sec. For undecided students, please come see Dr. Arisano. She'll take you on the process of becoming part of the department. Just kind of like what Teresa went through to start, and do a real simple kind of overview and get you going. I'm sorry, you had a question. So yes, some questions, and this is a great question for any of the concentrations. He said, can I take more than the 4 classes that are offered there? And you can. We've got elective credits. You'll see down the bottom of the page, on the first page, where it has business course. You have a whole bunch of free electives, and you can take whatever you like. So you could even do 2 concentrations if you want. All right? Yeah.
I'm crazy business.
You know my life is so we can all hear it. Thank you.
So I'm currently a business management major too, but I'm in the process of changing it to accounting. What are some hardships that you encountered, or were there any hardships you encountered while looking for a job opportunity in the business management field?
Yeah, so I was using LinkedIn a lot. I didn't know it worked.
Yep, it's working.
Oh, it does?
Yep.
Okay. I use LinkedIn a lot, which is a app, kind of like Handshake as well. But LinkedIn is like a Facebook, I would say, but more business-like. I use that to my advantage of putting whatever I could that was appropriate. And I use that where I was looking and networking with other people. Network is a good thing that you should do. And then when you're doing something like that, like LinkedIn, network with those that you're kind of interested in. So if you're interested in accounting, look for those that work in accounting. So because I wanted to work in marketing, I was going and connecting with people who work in the New York Giants, New York Jets, Hudson Valley Renegades, that were marketing. Like that was their position in marketing, and I went and connected with them. I didn't get the job at first, that was the first thing that wasn't in my mind. It was more of how would they be able to help me, and how was I able to help them in the future, however that would be able to work. And I did Zoom calls during COVID. I think I did like 2 Zoom calls a day with people, like networking, and from there on, keep that network on. Like you don't have to contact them every day and be like, good luck on the next Giants game or anything. But a simple, like maybe like, after a month or so, like, hi, I wanted to kind of catch up with you and see how your season is going and how if you wanted to speak with me as well. And then most of them are willing to help. Like they're really willing to help. And then from there on, I was still keeping in that contact. And then I guess one of the girls actually remembered me. And she was like, I would love to meet with you. And we met through Zoom. And then from there, she was like, we have this job opportunity if you would like. I could send you the information. And I was like, I would love that. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to do it with my school schedule and my work schedule, but it worked out pretty well with the Giants and Jets where I just work every Sunday. So it worked out pretty well, and that's where I got into. And I think that's the hardship, is that sometimes you're not patient, and that's one of the things that you have to kind of learn throughout, is that it takes time, but it's the time and effort you put into it, and if they're willing to also give back. But also don't expect it back, you have to kind of wait it out and see if it's really the right opportunity for you. And throughout my internships, I didn't actually know if marketing was going to be one of them, you know. Throughout the time, I got to learn through finance, I got to learn through human resources through each of my internships.
Great. Do you have any other questions for any of our panelists here? Yeah, sure, if you like to. Yeah, so I want to bring back Arizona just to kind of close this out tonight. I want to thank everyone who stayed here towards the end.
Yeah, I think appreciate it, and I know it's been a long day. Tomorrow night is an enormously important event. I hope you show up for it. I know it's more of your time, but it's really an investment in you. We're going to have 27 companies that are coming on campus because they want to get to know our students. Companies like Google, companies like Pepsi, companies like Twitter, companies that are across the spectrum in terms of really wonderful business opportunities. So take it we talked today. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate this. And I hope it's an investment in you. And this is what we're here for. We're investing in you. We care about you. We care deeply about you. We care about your future. And we are here for you. So thank you all for coming. Great.
Yeah, of course.
So good to see you again.
I haven't done any public speaking in a while. I was nervous.
You did great. Let's see if I can get this thing to stop, but you did great. There we are. Okay.
Yeah, it's really